Your job is to anticipate the question that is in their mind and answer it before they have to look for it.
Yes.
We've increased, just with literal words, website leads by 400% just by changing one statement from schedule a consultation to get a price. Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I am joined again in holy micromony with my co-host, Caleb Agee. It has been like 3 weeks since we've been on the mic together. You guys didn't know that because we pre-recorded episodes. We plan
ahead.
I've traveled like 10,000 miles in the last 3 weeks, and I'm feeling it. So I'm so glad to be back.
Yes.
This is the place where we answer your real-life marketing questions so you can grow your business, eliminate waste in advertising, and achieve the big dream. And every big dream these days is probably tied some way, somehow, to how much business you are getting off your website.
Yes.
So there are, you saw the title. We have promised big 5 ways to increase your website leads without spending a penny.
Yeah. That's a strong claim.
It's a strong claim.
But
if you have a website, this is the episode for you.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're selling doodads or whatchamacallits, or services of any kind. We're going to give you some tactics to improve the efficiency of what you're getting. Because really, there are 2 ways globally to increase traffic and leads. And one is to buy more traffic, pay more money, or do more with the traffic you already have.
Yes.
Which one sounds better? Spend more money?
I don't like spending more money.
Yeah.
So I like doing more with less.
So, hey, we're eliminating waste in advertising today.
That's
we are
right.
on mission.
That is it.
So we're going to jump. Caleb is going to jump right in. 5 tactics and maybe a bonus tactic if you stay to the end.
Yeah, I think before we get in, to quote Brandon Welch. I've heard this guy talk before, once or twice. A lead is a person with a need.
A lead is a person with a need.
And I think it's really easy to dig into this and start talking about how to get more leads on your website. We can get, as marketers, like if we can be honest, we can get really cold because we start looking at numbers and start articulating just really quick, logical processes, but we forget, if we're not careful, the people.
Most business owners have this idea of, like, when it comes to web people, these nerds that come in with like superpowers and coding and, tweak this line of code, tweak that line of code, do something, press some magic button that I didn't go to college for, so I don't know how to do it. And that's really all we're talking about is human beings.
Yep.
And so thank you for saying that, because that's something we've said over the years. It's like when people call and say, I need more leads, it's like, no, what you really need to do is connect with more people and offer them a better life.
That's it.
And everything we're going to talk about today, while there's some technical stuff interlooped in it, the principle is that it's about being more empathy. Matter of fact, the thing I wrote down is you can get more traffic or you can get more empathy. Empathy is cheap. Traffic is expensive. So let's go.
Yeah. All right. So
how are we going to do it?
Tip number 1, use you instead of we. So Roy H. Williams said, bad advertising is about you and your product. Good advertising is about your customer and their life. And when you're trying to sell something, it's really easy to start. You almost want to brag about your product.
Yes.
You almost like you're trying to convince yourself that it's worth buying, right?
Well, what happens is, I think this moment goes out the window in just a quick vapor.
Yeah.
Because it's like, am I going to build a website? Yes, I've got the money to build a website.
Yes.
And the website builder says, cool, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner, what would you like it to say? And it's nobody's job in that room to say, what is the human being thinking?
Yes.
Now, you as the business owner or the salesperson or the leader or the visionary, you know to your core who that customer is and what they feel. And if they were in the room with you, you would never in a million years use the words that are probably on your website right now.
Yes.
You would never use those.
The first question I think that the web guy or gal usually asks is, tell me about your product.
Yes.
Or even in any marketing scenario, that's the first question they ask. Tell me about your product. Tell me about your service. And that's the wrong question. It's tell me about your customer.
Yes.
And then how does your product satisfy them? So,
what is the most it's Valentine's Day on the day of recording.
Yes.
So let's just talk about the most.
I wore my pink-ish
the most
shirt
seductive
today.
word you could possibly use in English language. English language.
And
English language.
You got it.
Is
you.
You. So how do we do this technically?
Yeah. So I put some terrible examples. We build the most well-engineered, blah, blah, blah. We have 3 convenient locations. We have a combined experience. This one we always make fun of. We have a combined experience of 392 years, right? You hear that and you're like, wow, that law firm either has one really old dude or a lot of,
Yes.
and you're
Yeah.
you're like, why does that
Yeah,
even
or
matter? to
82
me?
employees with 4 years
With 4
experience each,
yeah.
So,
It's we just we.
so aside
all
from the
the way
fact those claims are probably weak as is, but
Yes.
they're probably on your website right now. Like everybody has
Yes.
stuff like that on the website. Let's just shift those. Let's just take even average copy and make it better by only switching you to we. So we build the most well-engineered things becomes because you deserve better. Doesn't that feel more empowering?
Yes.
Because you deserve the best.
Yes.
You deserve details. We could even use alliteration. All I did was switch about us to them. 3 convenient locations becomes around the corner from you, from
Perfect.
wherever you are, right?
You don't have to drive far.
We're just around the corner from you.
Yeah.
300 and we have a combined experience of 392 years. We say put experience on your side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So these are just hypotheticals. I don't think we actually saw these on websites, but
No.
right before we turned the mics on, I pulled up a site that I just did some copy for not too long ago, and I just literally Googled like the best example of this category in a big city. So like, and it was Chicago.
Yeah.
And the category is estate planning attorneys. Like we have a wonderful estate planning attorney that we've done a lot of stuff for. She's going to be on the podcast coming up.
Bring it on.
She went from 1 to 9 locations. And I'm not taking credit for all of her hard work, but I'm saying that a lot of her messaging is using exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Hundreds of leads a week that we get for her.
Mm-hmm.
So here is what an average website would say. I'm not even going to say the Neil Gerber blah, blah, blah law firm is the go-to law firm for estate planning needs for individuals and family groups in Chicago and throughout the U.S. Our nationally recognized lawyers combine a unique blend of business, finance, and tax counsel with legendary client service.
Ooh.
And it goes on for 4 or 5 more paragraphs with us.
Our.
And
Yes.
Neil Gerber, if you're listening, I love you. I don't have anything bad to say about
Yeah.
you, but
Call us about your website.
try this
we'll help
instead.
you out,
Yes.
Neil.
So instead of all that, how about we say wills, trusts, and Medicaid strategies that keep your family in control? Could I unscrew this mic and drop it?
Yeah.
Right?
Just drop it.
That's not glorifying the copywriter here, which may or may not have been me. That's just saying a you statement is so much more powerful. So go through your website. Anytime you're going, we are, there's a small time and place to do this.
Yes.
That's like our story. When people are actually in the mode and they've clicked the button that says about us or our story or our origin or where we came from or our promise or something like that. And when you've indicated it's your time to talk about you, and it's really more about the heritage and the values and the vows you give your customers, fine. Say, tell your story. In 1958, blah, 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 had this vision, and he saw this happen here. And so, but when it's on your website, when you're meeting somebody, you have, we're going to talk about this in a second. You have very, very little time.
It's 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Less than 5 seconds, people decide whether or not you have what they're looking for.
That's according to a Forbes article.
Yeah.
Forbes, that's top brass.
Yeah, that's
Forbes
it.
said it. You can count it. You can take it to the bank. So imagine somebody Googled this service and they get to your website and now all you do is start talking about you. It's just bad form, and you would never do that in a room.
No.
And even the most arrogant people would not do that in a room. They're smarter than that. So be smarter than that in your website copy.
That is use you instead of we.
Tip number 2 is answer the 5 things your customers are asking the receptionist about. I got this idea from Tim Miles a number of years ago. I think it's even in his book, Good Company, is what it's called.
Yeah.
You should read that book if you haven't read it. Every small business owner should read that book.
Yes.
He has a number of books that have been written since that, but this one's really good. And matter of fact, if you ask a question between now and next Monday, I'll send you a free copy of it.
Boom.
Cool.
I love it.
But the advice is this. Okay, every day people are calling your company, or sometimes they might be reaching out with email, but take a 2 or 3 week period and just write down the questions you start hearing. And every time the question gets repeated, put a little tally mark next to it. And at the end of this exercise, you're going to go and say, okay, what are the top 5 things that we get asked the most? It's going to come down to price, timeline. Do you carry this brand? Other big ones that pop up when we do this for people are, will you service my location? Things about warranties. There'll be some industry specific things that pop up for you, but it's going to be related to those.
Yep.
And then your goal is to make those questions get answered on the front page of your website.
Yeah.
The higher up, the better.
Yep. Yeah. And we found that in that same Forbes article we just referenced, they said 61% of website visitors say if they don't find what they're looking for within about 5 seconds, they go to another site. So let's call that 2/3-ish, right? That means if 10 people call you, there are 20 others who just hit the back button, went back to the Google search, and went to your competitor's website instead.
Let's take this even further. Let's do some math on this. Let's say the average person is paying $5,000 a month for website traffic.
Ooh. You're going to make it hurt real bad.
You didn't do this. You put 60% of that. You just spent $3,000 to advertise for your competitors.
Wow.
And you only kept $2,000. Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
So you are, I guarantee, like the first thing we do at Frank and Maven is not like, let's turn up the ad budgets. It's like, how can we do more with what you're already doing?
Yes.
Very often, for the first year, we don't make any increases at all. We just say, in budget, we just say, cut that out, do this better, use words more wisely. Words are free.
Yes.
Words are free.
Yeah. And a really quick way to look at this is where we get into numbers, but if your ads are getting the clicks at a reasonable rate, and we talk about that even with Ryan, and there's some benchmarks you can look up, but then you notice that your website isn't converting at the rate you want it to, that's where you get to look. Click-through rate, that's your ad.
Yeah.
Conversion rate, that's your website. And
for most local products and services, if you are less than a 10% conversion rate on your website, you could be doing a better job with words.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone will get a 10 easily, but the difference between 5 and 10 is words probably more than it is doodads and tactics. It could be some formatting and like order of language, but like
we're assuming you have like a reasonably
reasonably
website.
well-built website.
Yeah.
Most people that come to our front door have in the 2 to 3% ranges, and we pretty quickly get them to that 6 to 10 range. I have some we've done this for so well that they're in the 30s.
Yeah.
1/3 of every visitor from search is turning into a customer opportunity. And it's just bananas. So that's different for every industry. We'll do an episode on that sometime. But to get out of nerd mode and just to tell you like what you could probably do on your own or with a pretty quick email to your web guy or gal is say, hey, could you make answers to these top 5 questions? Just validate the question. So if it's, I'm thinking of a roofer we did this for, who had the very typical, schedule a consultation language and literally like 28 years in business and, American products and we are. And all we did is we figured out that like 1 out of 4 or 5 times somebody calls their office, it's about, will you take my insurance? Will you work with my insurance company?
Yes.
And so the very first thing we put on this website is we work with all insurance. Yeah.
Yep.
Click here and we'll set up a appointment with your adjuster. Like we even took that validation out of it. And there's no other website doing that.
Yeah.
So if you're a roofer, free advice, right?
Yes, there it is.
Another thing we did was we figured out a lot of them had different needs for roofs. So one of them was, I just hate the look of my roof and I'm about to sell my house and I know it needs to be done. So it's like, that was probably pretty literal, like replacement. But the other one was like, is your roof leaking? And so people that had a random roof leak or a storm leak or whatever, we created that language.
They don't want to think that they need a whole new roof. I've got a little leak. And so we're going to talk about that in a second. You're jumping ahead on this, but that's okay. Let's go to tip number 3 real quick. Show frequent, updated social proof. And what we're looking for here is your Google rating, your Yelp rating, Facebook, if you're in an industry board that's got, star ratings on it or reviews or whatever. What we want to do, Better Business Bureau, all of those, we want to have your scores high on the page.
Yes.
The little widgets, or you could even make an image graphic as long as if your score changes dramatically, you need to make sure you keep those up to date. But there are little widgets you can get to keep them live, that they're reflecting exactly what your Google score is right now. And those, whether people realize it or not, when they see little Google, Yelp, Facebook, there's such a subconscious validation, and then they see those stars next to it. Man, that is we're
These are
trained to
things
do
they
that.
already trust, right?
Yes.
So we call this a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
You're putting your thing that is unknown and untrusted inside the bigger thing that is already known and trusted, and it goes straight through the gates of skepticism, and your brand gets inside the trust mode.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It's so powerful. And then what you can do beyond that is also include review widgets, little scrollers with reviews flipping through. You can make those live. Technically speaking, those are not all that hard to do anymore, and your developer should be able to pull that off.
Be specific, and I would do the NASCAR method. I would just splash all the logos where you have a good reputation.
Yeah.
And that demonstrates instant trust.
Yeah. The other thing I'd say is there's no reason you couldn't do that on your internal pages as well. A lot of times we think about the homepage being the main thing, but you don't know where somebody's landing. So you may have a service page for our estate planning, attorney. They may be landing on the estate planning page instead of the homepage.
Yes.
Well, if we don't have those reviews, that social credibility, and they land on the estate planning page, we've missed them with that credibility. So there's no problem putting those on every page, generally speaking. So I think that's really powerful.
And then take that a little further. The pictures that you have of your customers, if you can have them standing, in their everyday, appearance in front of their house with you, thumbs up, or something that just like smile on their face and shows the completed project or work. Like realtors, I think, do a really good job of this. They do the pictures of the closing.
I bought my home with. Yep.
But if you're an attorney or if you're a doctor or whatever, when the moment's appropriate, go out front, stand in front of your building, and take a picture, and just be like, all make it a fun, happy thing. So.
Yeah. If you're in business to business, you could do case studies or examples of how, if you're saving somebody money or something like that, you could do a case study and show we saved this company this much money by switching to our service, or we helped save them this much time, so if you can get real examples of those kinds of things, get real reviews from credible companies, especially if you're in a local area, and they see that logo of, I helped Frank and Maven, and people know Frank and Maven, and you're associating yourself with them and giving good energy all the way through. Really powerful.
Yeah. And don't put them on there and coach them on what to say if you're doing a video. Like, just let them tell their story. So, cool. That's a good one. Social proof is, I've seen 2 or 3 percentage point increases happen just by doing that on a site that didn't have it, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's research out there that probably says it's a lot better than that. So, tip number 4, shall we? Have multiple conversion points on every page.
It's a big miss on a lot of websites.
Yeah. So we talked about having your top 5 questions you can answer. Those could be conversion points and just taking people to a form, or they can just be as helpful as possible. But this is more like the green eggs and ham method. Would you like them with a box? Would you like them with a fox? And then they scroll down a little more. Would you like them in a train? Would you like them on a plane or in the rain? Whatever he says.
Yeah.
And Sam I Am asked for that sale like 13 times before finally gets the sale.
Yeah.
And it's like, you make the statement, you're making your outline, you're going, okay, we need to talk about this, we need to validate this, this, and this. But at the end of every like little neat paragraph, you go, get started now. Schedule an appointment now. Talk to a team member now.
Yes.
Give us a call now.
Yeah.
Text over hours or after hours now. And so I think the format we found to work the best, just there could be nuances, but have a form that's easily accessible on the homepage to where if the people who searched it and they're ready to go now, they get to that quickly. But then also these buttons that take the people who are not so sure through their uncertainties and their objections and their validations. As you get down the page, have that button take them back to that form.
Yes. Yeah. And I think just going back to maybe the roofer example we had, also use different language, because you don't know what mode that customer's in when they're searching, they're scrolling down the website. So you want to walk them through. Yes, somebody might be in, I need a price mode. They might also be in, I have questions mode. They might also be in, I have a leak. I don't need a full replacement. I need just somebody to come look at my house. And so if we can think about the different ways that people might engage with us, that's the headline above each of those different form points or buttons or however we're leading them there.
Your job is to anticipate the question that is in their mind and answer it before they have to look for it.
Yes.
I have increased website leads. We've increased, just with literal words, website leads by 400% just by changing one statement from schedule a consultation to get a price.
Yep.
That language in and of itself was the question that the person actually was thinking. And instead, most people are thinking what's in it for them. Like the business owner's like, yeah, I want them to schedule a consultation. And we didn't change anything after that.
Yes.
All we did was change the language of the form that says, what you're going to do is get a price. And we promised a different thing instead of a big, scary meeting. The end result was the same. They still got the big, scary meeting, but we said, get a price instead of schedule an estimate. 400% more leads for the same exact money.
Yeah.
So, multiple conversion points, try different languages, and look over time.
Yeah.
Try something for a month and then go back and say, did that work for me?
And I think it goes without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you have the lonely form just sitting on some other page, your contact us page, and that's your only form, or your schedule an estimate page, and that's the only form on your site, and somebody has to click to get there, you are creating friction that does not need to be there.
Load times.
That's an extra step, and you are allowing people to fall off that could have converted, and you took 2 seconds too long for them to click that button and go over there. But if you put that form on the page, very often you're going to have a higher conversion rate. So
this is a pro tip instead of number 4. I'm just going to say this because it just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Instead of saying name, phone number, email, which everybody thinks, oh gosh, somebody's either going to call and pester the heck out of me, or I'm going to go to some random inbox. I'm not going to get called at all. Put in that form, ask 3 or 4 questions about the project. Start there.
Yes.
So if it's windows, you're going, how many windows would you like to replace? What trim color would you like? And the person's answering these questions in their mind before they ever get the threatening name, phone number, email.
Oh, yeah.
But those at the end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Which that leads us perfectly into the next part of the
next tip.
The next tip we've got, number 5, is clarify your process. So one of the biggest hesitations I think people have is when I fill out this form, when I give you a call, what's going to happen to me?
Yep.
And here's a news flash. I'm going to assume the worst of your company because I just don't know. I'm going to assume that you are going to blow up my phone. You're going to blow up my emails. I don't really
sell my email to Al Qaeda.
You're going to somehow force me to, let you in my house, and you're going to sell me something that I don't want. That's we just create all these fear-based emotions, and that's what holds us back in probably half a second, right? All that rushes through.
Yes.
And if you would stop and clarify your process right next to that form, like what will happen to me, customer, you'll give me this validation, this expectation that I know you've already thought about what's going to happen to me, and you're telling me clearly.
It's empathy.
I'm not afraid of it anymore because I know what's going to happen. Even if it's even if you are going to call me, even if you are going to text me, I actually don't mind because you told me you're going to.
Here's the crazy thing. We do this in real life. We don't just say, Caleb, follow me. Let's go. I say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. We go here. Then we're going to grab a bite to eat. Then we're going to do this and come back. We do this in real life. And Caleb's like, okay, cool. That sounds good to me, right? And we don't forget to be human on your website. And so this clarifying the process is just, but don't make it a 9-step process for heaven's sake.
No.
Like 3 is best, 5
less
at max.
than 5. Yeah. Yep.
I pulled up one that we have 3 steps. Like it's actually in reality, there's a lot more micro steps in these, but you take the micro steps and you put them in big folders.
Simple. Yeah.
Yep. So here's a client we have a really high converting website for. 1, get your easy price. 2, we meet and measure for your project. 3, stress-free, mess-free install. That's a home improvement contractor, right?
Perfect.
So, and something we did there is we promised them what they actually want was the price first, even though they're going to have a conversation to do that. That's just what we promised. So
just
clarify.
Be really clear about that. Go look at your website, and it's really hard to do, but as marketers and business people, we have to look at this objectively and close your eyes for a second and say, I'm looking for whatever you sell.
Yes.
Open your eyes again, look at that website and start turn on your BS meter, start asking all these questions, and scroll down your site, and you will realize objections and questions and all of these things, and it's really, really powerful.
Leslie just did a site for actually a really tough type of business, because it's just a really customized consulting type business. It's I'll just tell you who it is. It's Drive Leadership Group.
Yeah.
So they consult business owners who don't probably know they need consulted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she did such a great job in this. She made 3 steps: learn the truth, create a plan, improve results.
Mm-hmm.
How every business owner goes, I'd like to know the truth.
Yes.
Everybody likes a plan. You're just going to be charging me money for nothing, and then improve results. Yeah, that's why I'm here, right?
Yes.
So, you can probably look up some websites that do that really well if you need ideas, or ask a question at
MavenMonday at frankandmaven.com.
Send us a question. You know what? I will do a free website review in the next couple of episodes for anybody who wants to send us our website and say, hey, make this better.
Yeah. Let's do
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Be so good.
Help fix my website.
We're going to need to get like a monitor here so we can cast it on it.
Nate the camera guy. He's already on it.
You got this?
Yep.
Order a projector for us, and we could get VR. We could be in the website looking around.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yes. Order 2 Apple Vision Pros right now. We need it.
We need it.
Okay. Do you have a bonus tip for the?
We have one bonus tip. We said 5, but there's really 5 plus. So
bonus tip.
You want me to do it?
But you know what? Right now, if you want the bonus tip, we need you to go ahead and click like and subscribe on the podcast.
Yes.
We'll wait. So glad you did that.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And because you did that, as our thanks to you, Caleb has a bonus tip for you.
The bonus tip is automate the follow-up. So you've got the lead. What you do next with them is extremely important. The speed of your response and the warmth of your response, all of these things, they will dictate whether or not you lead that lead toward a sale.
It's a critical moment.
Actually help them.
You've already paid for the click. You've already paid for the confidence of the customer. They're already counting on you. And so this is it's yours to screw up at this point. And there is like a 300% greater chance. It's actually even higher than that. I want to say it's 391 in the latest study I talked about. 391% greater chance of closing the sale if you call and contact them within 5 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. The reality on the flip side is if you're relying on your people or yourself, business owner, if you're a one-man show, you might be on a job site when you get that lead and you can't just stop, drop, pick up the phone. You may not even know your phone buzzed, right?
Yes.
And so we recommend automating that follow-up.
Yes.
There are tools out there that will help you respond to this lead quicker than you ever could. And by the way, you're closed in the evenings also, so your office staff might not be there.
And most of the time people are browsing and thinking about this as a family decision.
Yeah, after work.
After hours.
Yeah.
So a perfect thing to do there. And what Caleb's talking about is the second somebody fills out a form on your website, you can make triggers that just fire emails. That one thing you could do is just simply say thank you. What would be even better is if you know the form that they filled out, let's just say it was a get a price form. Thank you so much for requesting a price info. We received this, and you can tell the email program to say, we know you're looking for 11 windows or whatever. And our remodeling specialist is looking at that right now, and we'll be in touch with you within,
1 day,
1 day,
1
right?
hour, whatever you can say.
So you're not just saying thanks, we got it. You're saying, yes, we are doing what you just asked us to do. We're following up, right? That seems so simple, but man, so many website experiences do not do that.
Yeah.
You
can also revalidate the process again.
Yes.
In that email, you can say, here's what's going to happen next. Jimmy's going to give you a call and he's going to ask you some questions about your house. Then he'll give you a price on the phone. You know what I'm saying? If you can literally spell that out again, you're just trying to retain their confidence. They gave you enough to give you their email, but you have to hold it.
Guess what else we can do?
Yeah.
So in the meantime, your receptionist is going to do all the stuff, call out or call back and talk to the customer, get that process started. But what if we said, okay, now automation program, in 24 hours after they submitted this, or at 9 a.m. the next morning, after they submitted this, send an email with project ideas, projects we're proud of. Here's 3 recent jobs we did, and we just thought you might like to see them for inspiration on what you're thinking about.
Yes.
Okay. We do it again in another 24 hours or 18 hours or whatever. And we do the subject of the email is, I just never knew how easy this could be. And you show a testimonial from a client talking about, man, they came in, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. It was cheaper than I thought. Like, you just find some awesome testimonial.
Yep.
And you're adding value in this. Like, a lot of our clients, we have 10, 12, 15. I can think of one, we actually have like an entire year's worth of automation, and all they had to do was ask one question. And we're not annoying them. We're not saying bye. We're adding value.
Yes.
Talking about colors you should think about.
Educating them.
Educating them how to, what you're going to do after you get the product.
Yes.
And just sometimes it's just community related stuff. It's just feel good, help them out on a human being level stuff. And here's the effect of that. Most people in long-term buying cycle products, once they get to the finish line, they take about 2 to 4 weeks before they've talked to all the providers and they've made their decision. If you are the one that had 3 points of extra contact for your competitor before they talk to them, do you think you're going to have a better chance of winning?
So much better.
How about if you had 12 points of contact in the next 2 weeks before they make their final decision? Do you think that's going to reiterate? Say you're the unlucky guy and you get to be first out and they're calling 2 others in. You had 12 more points of contact. And then, oh, by the way, we maybe do something fancy on Facebook when we're following them around with cool installation videos you've done. Close, not just lead rates, but close rates go up. And then after that, what do you think their review experience is going to be like?
It's going to be strong.
It's going to strengthen your brand in so many ways.
Yeah.
And most of this stuff, while you're going to have to probably hire a nerd to do it for you, it's kind of like once you do it and make the investment, it pays dividends for a long time.
And it runs for a very long time.
Yep.
So a few tools we use. WooSender is powerful. Hatch has been a big one. Email softwares like MailChimp, Klaviyo, Constant Contact, all of those can do a lot of the things we're talking about. They do it in different ways. So some of them are texting, some of them are emails, but I would encourage you to look into those. A lot of them can start off self-serve, or they have a launch team that'll come and help onboard you and write it out, and you just need to make it sound like you. That's the only thing I would warn is they'll give you some cold default emails, texts, whatever those sound like.
Don't sound like a robot.
Don't sound like a robot. So
yeah, those plug right into your existing website, and you'll be off to the races with automation. So that was a heck of a bonus tip.
Yes, we did.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to use you instead of we. We're going to answer the top 5 things your customers are asking on the homepage. We're going to show frequent and updated social proof from all of the Google's, Yelps, and review sites. We're going to have multiple conversion points on every page using different language for people in different points of the process. And we're going to clarify our process into 3 to 5 steps so that people feel less threatened to take the next step.
Yes.
And then if you've done all that, you're going to automate your follow-up. So you have a wonderful experience, high impression count with your customers, and reviews. Strong brand, right?
Yes. Build it up.
Did we do it?
I think we made it happen.
Nate, this feels like a 9 out of 10 episode.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. He says it. 2
Yep.
thumbs up from Nate the Camera Guy. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. Please forward this to another business owner. We are on a mission. We're nearing in on 10,000 subscribers now, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
We're on a mission to help, just as we say when we start, help you eliminate waste in advertising, grow your business, and achieve the big dream. We are super serious about that. That is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So reviews help. Please do that. We just want to be one of those guys asking for no good reason. It's for a mission. You will be helping business owners like you across the nation and the world. Send in any questions to MavenMonday at frankandmaven.com. We have an awesome spring coming up with some cool interviews, but in between, man, you're going to love some of these people we're interviewing. They're going to rock your world. In between, we want to be tactically helping you make progress on whatever's challenging you in marketing. So with that, we'll be back here every Monday answering your real-life marketing advertising questions, because marketers who can't teach you why
are just a fancy lie.
Have a great week.